Why am I being asked to tip at a self-service kiosk? Why am I being asked to tip for a 15-second interaction from a Starbucks employee heating up a slice of bread? Why are DoorDashers so entitled that when they get 25% tip worth of their bill, they are insanely rude to the people that are funding their job? And keep in mind, before you accept the tip, you can see how much they tipped you. So before you even do service, you're already getting money.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just want to say it's a nice house for a $5 tip.
You're welcome.
You.
$5 for a $20 pizza? That's a quarter of the bill. What else more do you want? Even if they do have the money, they're not obligated to give it to you for something you didn't earn and is like not part of the bill. $5 in general is a pretty good tip considering that they don't know you yet. They don't know the quality of the service you're going to give. They don't know if the food's going to be delivered on time. Make sure it's correct and you're not forgetting anything. Make sure it's not spilling or leaving it at the door a mess. They're nice enough to give you financial gratitude before the service, and you accepted that offer knowing that. Did you forget they can still tip you afterwards too? There's also a rise in self-service kiosks and restaurants asking for a tip. Who is the tip going to? Me? Is it being taken off my bill? My taxes? I was the one who picked up the bag of chips, walked to the scanner, scanned it, and bagged it. No other human interactions were made. Literally, who do I owe a tip to? Even if I do decide to tip. Yeah, it's not going to anyone. You know when you go get frozen yogurt and you decide how much you want, what kind of toppings you want, literally you customize it? Yeah, now they're also asking for a tip.
There is no freaking way. I just went to go get froyo where you make it yourself. Okay, I'm sitting there with my little bowl and I put my ice cream in and then I move over to my favorite section, the toppings, okay? And I put in some chocolate covered strawberries, some brownies, and then I move over to the little section where you have to weigh your ice cream and it gives you the total. And not gonna lie, y'all, that was some expensive froyo. But anything to make my stomach happy, of course. And so I take out my wallet, pull out my card, and I'm tapping it, and it's not working. So I was like, okay, maybe I can swipe it. I swipe it, and it's still not going through. And I was low-key getting embarrassed because, like, there's people behind me. And the worker comes up to me, and he's like, it's not going through because it's asking you to tip. I was like, oh. And he was like, press the bottom right corner. And I was like, the no tip? And he goes, yeah, we don't get those tips anyway. The owner keeps them. If we don't get paid enough. I was like, oh, but I'm just here for my froyo, okay? But like, I think it's crazy that these self-serve places are asking you to tip and the owners are keeping it. Like, that makes no sense at all.
I did all the work. I'm not saying it's the workers' fault. That's literally, I'll get into that later. I'm going after the system, not the workers, okay? Let me just say that before I continue. But before, y'all are like, they're greeting you, they're cashing you out, they're keeping the restaurant clean. That's literally their job. That's literally what they signed up for when you do paperwork before you get hired. They're already being paid to do that by their employer. But wait, it gets worse. So the tip doesn't even go to the employees a lot of the time. Those self-service checkouts are going to the owners, who is already one of the most paid, so it is not going to no employee.
No ma'am.
No ma'am.
No ma'am.
Also, why are we being so hard on people who literally can't tip? I'm going to be talking about the people that say, don't go out if you can't afford to tip. I used to be a waitress at an American diner for almost 3 years. I get if you're an adult and have your own stable job. If you have $60 to eat out from your stable job, you're more likely probably have $3 more just to say thank you, at the very least, like the bare minimum. But I'm talking about the kids that go out to eat when their parents are giving them money, and obviously they're not going to give them a lot of money, or people who barely make enough to pay the bill. Don't go out to eat if you can't tip. So the people who are barely making enough to treat themselves, or teenagers who have very limited money, because obviously teens can't get a job most of the time and don't have control over how much their parents give them, are not deserving of a nice meal at a nice restaurant. Apparently, servers aren't given teens quality service due to the stereotype that they don't tip. Waiting 20 minutes for an appetizer because teens don't tip. POV, teenagers don't tip, so we're getting neglected and don't even have silverware. It's a cycle, bro. Teens don't tip because they get bad service. Teens get bad service because of the misconception that they never tip. That's literally what I'm trying to say, but that's not the only issue here. I very much agree with the fact that generally you should tip your servers if they're genuinely trying, because although they're making $2 an hour, it's not their fault. And I'm not saying it's your fault either, but this is just the world that we live in. I'm only making $2.83 an hour. It's very much the stingy million-dollar corporations who don't want to pay their employees, who are literally making their business thrive. But again, for the time being, we could just help each other out. Before y'all say, if your employer doesn't pay you enough, get another job. It's not illegal to not tip. If you can't afford to tip, then stay home. That door swings both ways. If your employer doesn't pay you enough, then get another job. Okay, first of all, if it was that easy, everybody would be working at McDonald's, where they pay $20 an hour, which is more than a restaurant. You think servers never thought of that? When they're applying to so many jobs, you think, maybe I should apply to McDonald's. Definitely they have thought of that. Obviously, everybody wants the highest paying job, fast food job. There's a point where those jobs are going to get filled. And now what? And y'all know how hard it is to land a job in general. And not only that, by saying that, y'all are kind of fucking yourselves over. If all of these servers leave their jobs because they don't like how much they're given, these restaurants that you like to go to won't exist. So it's kind of hypocritical, because how are you going to sit there and consume, but you're also going to tell the people that you're consuming from to leave? What? Are you working at McDonald's? Go be a lawyer. If it works like that, I think I would have done that by now. The whole concept of if you don't like something, just move. If the world worked like that, a lot of people wouldn't be jobless. A lot of people wouldn't be financially struggling. If you're sad, just go to a doctor. Be happy. If you're hungry, just go find food. Why are bare minimum tips, like the first option, are becoming higher and higher? 30% of the bill for the minimum, the baseline. What happened to 15 being the starter option? And like 25% being like outstanding service, I feel really nice today. Half the bill is now asked for. I always tip workers who are running around, haven't had a break, probably dehydrated, stressed with 7 to 8 tables. And if you don't think that's a lot of tables, you've never been a server before, because you would know 5 tables is a lot. Going back and forth with refills and plates. And just like everyone else who has a job and just lives life, we don't know what they're going through. Meanwhile, they still have a smile on their face. When your client pays you $150 for a full set of lashes and only tips you $3. Okay, give me the tip back then, since you don't want it. If you're self-employed, meaning you make your own prices, why do you want a certain amount of dollars in tips? If you think you're not making enough money, raise your prices.
So it is going to be $85. I did want to let you know my new policy, and it's basically I'm including the tip in my price, so the $85 also includes the tip. So you don't owe anything after that. Like, you don't have to give me a tip after that because it's already included.
So you're including your own tip?
Yeah, because like it just seems like a lot of people don't tip, so I'm just gonna include the tip. So your set would really be $65, but with the tip it's $85.
Yeah, but what if I didn't want to tip you? Why would you?
Well, that's because nobody tips me, so I just added it.
That's not up to you. That's up to me if I want to tip or not. What if I didn't like my set, but I just didn't want to tell you?
A lot of people don't tip.
Yeah, but I don't think that's up to you. I think that's up to the client.
Well, I mean, I'm allowed to include it because it's my like business.
Yeah, but
So.
What if I didn't even like my set and I just...
Well, it avoids all that because I still like be tipped. You know, it avoids all of that.
You're doing lashes at home. You're doing nails at home. And not a certain amount of percentage requirement you have to meet to give to your boss. You have no one to split the money to. No employees to pay. Who else is it going to? And you literally said it was your business.
Because it's my like business.
All that $150 is going to you. Again, if that's not enough, it's your business. You decide the price. And if tip is going to be mandatory, let your clients know before.
So your set would really be $65, but with the tip it's $85.
$20 tip for a $65 service? That's about 30%. A lot of people don't tip. Well, why am I paying the price for other people's actions? That's not my fault. Just because others don't tip, now I have to pay the price for something that should have been optional? When someone is that entitled, it makes me wonder, maybe At least part of the reason people aren't tipping you is because of the entitlement. I mean, if my nail tech was doing this to me, especially not telling me beforehand, I'm not going back to you. You basically tricked them into giving you $20 extra. I used to be a waitress at American diners for almost 3 years, so I could have a better perspective on how tipping works and like why it's important. So when I was a waitress, and I know a lot of other waitresses do this, but I would treat people and see people as if they are a human, not just a customer. I like doing that because I'm nice. The money was just a cherry on top, because like, why not? Like, there's an opportunity to be nice. There's no reason to just see them as a customer, as a moneymaker. They're also human too. Like, and that really helped my quality of service. Not many people know this, but a percentage of the bill automatically gets taxed to us. So even if you tip us or not, I think it's like 8% or something like that. A percentage of the bill is automatically taxed, either you tip us or not, because the corporations or whoever the fuck is in charge knows that we're getting tips. Either you put it on card or on cash, they know we're getting tips. I'm not saying you have to tip or you're a malicious person. It is your choice. That's how I see it as a former waitress. And I'm not saying it's the customer's fault. Get it. It's not your fault that we get paid low. It's the stingy, rich millionaire companies who have millions of dollars and don't want to spare a couple to their employees. It's not mandatory, but it's very nice and very helpful. And just consider it. Because like I said, at least for now, it's not going to change. That's just how the system is. Just help somebody get to work with gas. And it's like kind of inconsiderate. If you have the opportunity to give back, to be nice, and you don't, just get another job. It's closed-minded to say, if it was that easy, nobody would be working the shitty jobs that they hated. Everybody would love their job. Everybody would love their life. Everybody would be rich. If they all quit their jobs, no more nice restaurants that you like to go to. Tipping used to be something that you just did for financial gratitude. And I don't believe in tipping something that has minimal or zero interaction with. I'm just talking to you because you're going to cash me out. This is just my opinion. I mean, if I feel nice, I'm not saying don't tip, especially if I know the tip is not going to you. Why would I tip at all? Why am I tipping a self-service kiosk? Why am I tipping a frozen yogurt restaurant or whatever store when I did all the work? You just cashed me out. But that's like, you already get paid for that by your employer, and like, that's part of your job. But thank you guys for listening to my rant. I hope I'm making sense, because there's so many things that I can explain, but I could sit here and go on and on. People will still kind of disagree with me. That's okay. You should subscribe. Help me help you figure out what we'd like to talk about. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. Also, I'm working on getting a new mic because this one's kind of sucky, and it was for ASMR, but we left that era. Bye.